Amishgate. I'm going to be continuing my reading from Dan Millman, Way of the Peaceful Warrior. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and like my videos. Thank you. I'm going to continue on page 11. Life. How do you know you're not asleep right now? He said, watching me intently. Whatever you say, I was too tired to argue. One thing though, before I go, how did you pull off that stunt? You know, on the... Tomorrow, Dan, tomorrow, he interrupted. Then he smiled warmly, and all my fears and frustration dissolved. He reached out and clasped my bandaged hand. Soon my hand, my arm, then my whole body started to tingle. He added, "It's been pleasant seeing you again." "What do you mean again?" I began, then caught myself. "I know tomorrow, tomorrow." We both laughed. I walked to the door, stopped, turned, stared at him, then said, "Goodbye, Socrates." He looked bewildered, then shrugged good-naturedly. I think he liked the name. I left without another word. I slept through my 8 o'clock class the next morning. By the time my afternoon gymnastics workout started, I was awake and ready to go. After running up and down the bleacher stairs, Rick, Sid, and I, along with our teammates, lay on the floor, sweating and panting, stretching our legs, shoulders, and backs. Usually I was silent during these ritual, but today I felt like telling them about last night. All I could say was, I met this unusual guy at a gas station last night. My friends were involved with this stretching pain in their legs then in my little story. We warmed up easily, doing a few handstand push-ups, some sit-ups, and leg raises, and then began our tumbling series. As I flew through the air again and again as I swung around the high bar, did scissors on the pommel horse, and struggled through a new muscle-straining ring routine, I wondered about the mysterious feats of the man I named Socrates. My ruffled feelings urged me to avoid him, but I had to make sense out of this enigmatic character. After dinner, I quickly read through my history and psychology assignments, wrote a rough draft of an English paper, and raced out of the apartment. It was 11:10 p.m. Doubts began to plague me as I neared the station. Did he really want to see me again? What could I say to impress upon him the fact that I was a highly intelligent person? He was there. Standing in the doorway, he bowed, and with a wave of his arm welcomed me into his office. "Please remove your shoes." Custom of mine. I sat down on the couch and put my shoes nearby in case I wanted to make a hasty exit. I still don't trust this mysterious stranger. It was starting to rain outside. The color and warmth of the office was a comfortable contrast to the dark night and ominous clouds outside. I started to feel at ease. Leaning back, I said, "You know, Socrates, I feel as though I've met you before." "You have," he answered, again opening the doorway in my mind where dreams and reality become one. I paused. Socrates, I have been having this dream. You're in it." I watched him carefully, but his face revealed nothing. "I've been in many people's dreams. So have you. Tell me about your dream," he smiled. I told him in a much detail as I could remember. The room seemed to darken as the terrible scenes became vivid in my mind, and my familiar world began to recede. After I finished, he said, "Yes, a very good dream." Before I could ask him what he meant by that, the station bell clanged and clanged again. He put on a poncho and went outside into the wet night. I stared out the window, watching him. It was a busy time of evening. The Friday night rush, things got pretty hectic, with one customer driving in after another. I felt silly just sitting there, so I went out to help him, but he didn't seem to notice me. and an endless line of cars greeted me. Two-tones, reds, greens, blacks, hardtops, pickups, and foreign sports cars. The moods of the customers varied as much as their cars. Only one or two people seemed to know Socrates, but many people looked twice at him, as if noticing something odd but indefinable. Some of the people were in a party mood, laughing loudly and blaring their radios while we waited on them. Socrates laughed right along with them. One or two customers were sullen, putting forth a special effort to be unpleasant, but Socrates treated one and all with the same courtesy as if each person were his personal guest. After midnight, the cars and customers grew scarce. The cool air seemed unnaturally still, after having been filled with raucous noise and activity. As we entered the office, Socrates thanked me for being his assistants. I shrugged it off, but was pleased that he noticed. It had been a long time since I helped anybody with anything. Once inside the warm office, I remembered our unfinished business. I started talking as soon as I flopped onto the couch. Socrates, I have a couple of questions. He held his hands in a gesture of prayer, looking upward to the office ceiling as if asking for divine guidance or divine patience. What, he said with a sigh, are your questions? Well, I still want to know about the roof and why you said I'm pleased to see you again. I want to know, what can I do for you and you how you can be useful to me? And I want to know how old you are. Let's take the easiest one for now. I'm 96 years old by your time. He was not 96, 56 maybe, 66 at the outside, 76 possible, but amazing. But 96? He was lying. But why would he lie? And I had to find out about the other thing he had let slip too. Socrates, what do you mean by your time? Are you on Eastern time? Or are you, I joke feebly, from outer space? Isn't everyone, he replied. By then, I had already considered that as a distant possibility. I still want to know what we can do for each other. Just this, I wouldn't mind having one last student, and you obviously need a teacher. I have enough teachers, I said too quickly. He paused and drew a deep breath. Whether you have a proper teacher or not depends upon what you want to learn. He rose lightly from his chair and walked to the door. Come with me, I want to show you something. We walked to the corner from where we could see down the avenue to the lights of the business district and beyond them to the lights of San Francisco. The world out there, he said, waving his arm across the horizon, is a school, Dan. Life is the only teacher. It offers many experiences, and if experience alone brought wisdom and fulfillment, then elderly people would all be happy, enlightened masters. But the lessons of experience are hidden. I can help you learn from experience to see the world clearly. And clarity is something you desperately need right now. You know, this is true, but your mind rebels. You haven't yet turned knowledge into wisdom. I don't know about that. I mean, I wouldn't go that far. No, Dan, you don't know about it yet, but you will go that far and beyond. We headed back to the office just as a shiny red Toyota pulled in. Socrates continued talking as he opened the gas tank. Like most people, you've been taught to gather information from outside yourself, from books, magazines, experts, teachers. He stuck the gas nozzle into the tank. Like this like this car, you open up and let the facts pour in. Sometimes the information is premium and sometimes it's low octane. Are you guys paying attention to that? Wow. You buy your knowledge at the current market rates, much like you buy gasoline. Hey, thanks for reminding me. My tuition check for next quarter is due in 2 days. Socrates just nodded and continued to fill the customer's tank. When the tank was full, Socrates kept pumping gas until food fuel started overflowing the tank and pouring down onto the ground. A flood of gasoline ran across the pavement. Socrates, the tank is full. Watch out what you're doing. Ignoring me, he let the flood continue, saying, Dan, like the gas tank, you are overflowing with preconceptions, full of useless knowledge. You hold many facts and opinions, yet know little yourself. Before you can learn, you'll have to first empty your tank. You okay, Argos? Sorry, guys. Oh, you okay, Montana? I'm sorry. First, empty your tank. He grinned at me, winked, and turned the pump off with a click. Added, clean up the mess, will you? I got the feeling he was referring to more than the spilled gas. I hurriedly watered down the pavement. Sock took the driver's money and gave him back some change and a smile. We walked back to the office and settled in. What are you going to do? Fill me full of your facts? I bristled. It's not a matter of facts. It's a matter of body wisdom. What's body wisdom? Everything you'll ever need to know is within you. The secrets of the universe are imprinted on the cells of your body, but you haven't learned how to read the wisdom of the body. Sorry, I lost my reading. So you can only read books and listen to experts and hope they are right. I couldn't believe it. The gas station attendant was accusing my professors of ignorance and implying that my college education was pointless. I understand this body wisdom concept, but I don't buy it. He shook his head slowly. You understand many things, but have you realized practically nothing? What is that supposed to mean? Understanding is a one-dimensional comprehension of the intellect. It leads to knowledge. Realization is three-dimensional. A simultaneous comprehension of head, heart, and instinct. It comes only from direct experience. I'm still not with you. Do you remember when you first learned to drive? Prior to that time, you've been a passenger. You only understood what it was, but you realized what it was like when you did it for the first time. That's right, I said. I remember feeling, so that's what it's like. Exactly. That phrase describes the experience of realization perfectly. One day, you'll say the same thing about your life. I sat quietly for a moment, then piped up. You still haven't explained to me how body wisdom works. Come with me, Socrates beckoned, leading me toward the door marked private. Once inside, we were in total darkness. I started to tense, but then the fear gave way to keen anticipation. I was about to learn my first real secret, body wisdom. The lights flashed on. We were in a bathroom and Socrates was peeing loudly in the toilet bowl. Ah, he said, now this is body wisdom. His laughter echoed off the tile walls as I stomped out, sat on the couch, and glared at the rug. When he emerged, I said, Socrates, I still want to know. If you're going to call me Socrates, he interrupted, you might at least do the name honor by allowing me to ask a question on occasion, and you can answer them. How does that sound? Fine, I responded. You just asked your question, I answered it. Now it's my turn. About the flying stunt you pulled the other night. You are a persistent young man, aren't you? Yes, I am. I didn't get where I am today without persistence, and that's another question I've answered. Now, can we deal with some of mine? Ignoring me, he asked, where are you today? Right now. Eagerly, I started talking about myself. However, I noticed that I was being sidetracked from getting answers to my questions. Still, I told him about my distant and recent past and about my inexplicable depressions. He listened patiently and intently, as if he had the time in the world, until I finished several hours later. Just gonna get a drink of water. Page 17. Very well, he said, but you still have not answered my question about where you are. Yes, I did. Remember, I told you how I got to where I am today? By hard work. Where are you? What do you mean, where am I? Where are you? He repeated slowly. I'm here. Where is here? In this office, in this gas station. I was getting impatient with this game from Socrates. Where is this gas station? It's in Berkeley. Where is Berkeley? In California. Where is California? In the United States. Where is the United States? On a landmass, one of the continents in the Western Hemispheres. Socrates, Where are the continents? I sighed. On the earth. Are we done yet? Where is the earth? In the solar system, third planet from the sun. The sun is a small star in the Milky Way galaxy. All right? Where is the Milky Way? Oh, brother, I sighed impatiently, rolling my eyes. In the universe. I sat back and crossed my arms with finality. And where, Socrates smiled, is the universe? The universe, well, there are theories about how it's shaped. That's not what I asked. Where is it? I don't know. How can I answer that? That is the point. You cannot answer it and you never will. There is no knowing about it. You are ignorant of where the universe is and thus where you are. In fact, you have no knowledge of where anything is or what anything is or how it came to be. Life is a mystery. My ignorance is based on this understanding. Your understanding is based on ignorance. This is why I'm a humorous fool and you are a serious jackass. Listen, I said. These are things you should know about me. For one thing, I'm already a warrior of sorts. I happen to be a damn good gymnast. To punctuate that, I said, and to show him I could be spontaneous, I stood up from the couch and did a standing backward somersault, landing gracefully on the carpet. Hey, he said, that's great. Do it again. Oh, it's no big deal. Pretty easy, actually. I smiled modestly. I was used to showing this sort of things to kids at the beach or the park. They always wanted to see it again, too. All right, now, Sock watched closely. I leaped upward and was just turning over when someone or something tossed me through the air. I landed in a heap on the couch. The Mexican blanket from the back of the couch wrapped itself around me. Covering me, I poked my head out from the covers, quickly looking for Socrates. He was still across the room, 12 feet away, curled in his chair, and smiled mischievously. How did you do that? My confusion was as total as his look of innocence. Want to see it again? He said. Then, seeing my expression, he had, don't feel badly about your little slip, Dan. Even a great warrior like you can make a boo-boo now and then. I stood numbly and straightened the couch, tucking the blanket back in. I had to do something with my hands. I needed time to think. How had he done it? Another question that would go unanswered. Socrates padded softly out of the office to fill the tank of a pickup truck full of household belongings, off to cheer up another traveler on his journey. I thought then, I closed my eyes and pondered. Sock's apparent defiance of natural laws, or at least common sense. Would you like to learn some secrets? I didn't even hear him come in. He was seated in his chair, his legs crossed. I crossed my legs too and leaned forward eagerly. Misjudging the softness of the couch, I leaned a little bit too far and tipped over. Before I could untangle my legs, I found myself sprawled face down on the rug. Socrates made an effort not to laugh and failed. I sat up quickly, ramrod straight. One look at my stolid expression left Sock helpless with mirth. More accustomed to applause than ridicule, I leaped to my feet in shame and anger. Sit down, Sock, commanded his voice, charged with authority. He pointed to the couch I sat. I asked you if you wanted to hear a secret. I do, about rooftops. You get to choose whether or not you want to hear a secret. I choose what it's about. Why do we always have to play by your rules? Because it's my station, that's why, Sock spoke up with exaggerated petulance, possibly mocking me further. Now, pay close attention, by the way. Are you comfortable and stable, he winked. I clenched my teeth but held my tongue. Dan, I have places to show you and tales to tell. I have secrets to unfold. But before we begin this journey together, you must appreciate that a secret's value is not in what you know but in what you do. Sock took an old dictionary from his drawer and held it in the air. Use whatever knowledge you have, but see its limitations. Knowledge alone does not suffice. It has no heart. No amount of knowledge will nourish or sustain your spirit. It can never bring you ultimate happiness or peace. Life requires more than knowledge. It requires intense feeling and constant energy. Life demands right action if knowledge is to come alive. I know that, Sock. That's your problem. You know, but you don't act. You're no warrior. Socrates, I know at times I believe like a warrior. When the pressure is on, you should see me in the gym. He nodded. You may experience the mind of a warrior on occasion. Resolute, flexible, clear, and free of doubt. You can develop the body of a warrior. Supple, sensitive, and filled with energy. In rare moments, you may even feel the heart of a warrior, extending compassion to those around you. But these qualities are fragmented in you. You lack integration. My task is to put you back together again, Humpty. Wait a damn minute. I know you have some unusual talent and like to surround yourself with an air of mystery, but I don't see how you can presume to put me back together. Let's look at the situation. I'm a college student. You service cars. I'm a world champion. You tinker in the garage, make tea, and wait for some poor fool to walk in so you can frighten the wits out of him. Maybe I can help put you back together. I didn't know quite what I was saying, but it felt good. Socrates laughed, shaking his head as if he couldn't believe what he just heard. Then he came over to me, knelt down at my side, looked into my eyes, and spoke softly. Maybe you will have a chance someday, but for now, you should understand the difference between us. He poked me in the ribs, then poked me again and again, saying, The warrior acts. Damn it, stop that, I yelled. You're getting on my nerves. And the fool only reacts. Well, what do you expect? I poke you and you get irritable. I insult you and you react with pride and anger. I slip on a banana peel and he took 2 steps away from me and slipped, landing with a thud on the rug. I couldn't hold it in. I bellowed. He sat up on the floor and turned to face me, making a final point. I'm on page 20. Your feelings and reactions, Dan, are automatic and predictable. Come on up, boy. Come on. Your feelings and reactions are automatic and predictable. Say hi, Bobos. Hi, Bones. There's my Bones. Mine are not. I create my life spontaneously. Yours is determined by your thoughts, your emotions, your past. How can you assume all this about me, about my past? Because I've been watching you for years. Sure you have, I said, waiting for the joke. None came. It was getting late and I had a lot to think about. I felt burdened by a new obligation. One, I wasn't sure I could fulfill. Socrates came in, wiped his hand, and filled his mug with spring water. As he sipped slowly, I said, I've got to go now. Sock, it's late and I have a lot of important schoolwork to do. And that's where I'll end it on page 21. And I'll see you guys again soon. This is Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. I'm Christine Andrew.